What's going on, everybody? Welcome back, or welcome to your channel. I don't know if you guys return or not, but listen, welcome to your channel. My name is Michael. We're going to be doing a reading on the Aquarius. We're going to see what Spirit has to offer for Aquarius today, right? I do say this before the beginning of the videos now. Just excuse my speech situations. I'm trying to, trying to explain things. Just be easy with me because this is freestyle and not scripted. It's not an edited video. It's just straight raw. So just be just be more facts and action. Be a kind of support when doing these readings, right? Okay, so picking up energies on, like, you might have found your real spiritual side. You guys ever really look at people like that are like real natural? They go in the woods, they go build houses. They got like the stick with them, right? Got like the stick with them. There's a lot of stick situations. Like you go with look at Kung Fu Panda, Master Eagle got a stick. I think they call it a stick. He's got his stick. I think it's Oogly or Utardo or something like that. Got his stick. I think it's like the same name. I don't know. But it's like a spiritual thing. They always got like a stick, a little stick, and like, yeah, you know what I mean? I feel like you'll find your stick. I feel like it's might not be a physical stick, but it's kind of like when you're on a path or as a kid, you probably go grab a stick, break the stick, whatever. Like I feel like your stick represents your spiritual connection with the earth, and I feel like you're on that path. And here's the thing, I feel like you can chase your dreams and desires and things like that. You probably want to try to looking like, how can I develop my path, develop my purpose, and things like that. And I do want to say this, right? Connect within yourself so that you can connect with the outer world, right? Because once we have a strong connection with what we truly want and what we truly desire, that's going to allow us to make certain decisions. It's going to put us in positions to earn material things that we would like to obtain in this universe, or this earth, this world, whatever materials they can offer. But in order for us to know what we were looking for, we have to look deeper than ourselves. So I would definitely say for this message, get out there in the world, in nature, get connected with your spiritual side. Make sure you guys are sitting there. Even if you guys sit in the dark room or lay up in bed and just think about yourself and develop that inner peace so that you can experience that outer experiences, right? Okay, what else we got from my Aquarius? Alright, so this might come off as a no-brainer for you guys, but listen, focus on the positive. I say no-brainer because you're like, I already know that. You tell me something I don't know. Listen, a lot of these messages are things that you know. Practically we learn as we grow up. I mean, especially if you're reaching the age of 18, you probably heard these things 1,000 times. Life is not about learning new information a lot of times. Like I tell people, information is only important if you actually use it. You're probably going to learn a lot of information you're probably never going to actually physically use. Because realistically, all our information that we need to know is how to eat, right? How to sleep, how to survive. Right? It's really that simple, because if you look at humans back in the day, they didn't have technology, they didn't have all of this, they didn't have, I'm not saying they didn't have it, but they can live without it. We can actually go in the woods and be able to survive. Because when we have our resources and we sleep good, we can obtain all the energy we need to be able to do the same thing over and over again. When it comes down to obtaining cars and car notes and car payments and apartments and, you know what I mean? So much unnatural things. However, as long as we focus on the positive, we're always going to have that breaking point. And this is why I say about your recycled energy. Like if I come in here and I tell you guys something you already know, it's not about telling you something that you already knew. It's about reminding you something that you once almost forgot. See, if you are running around here and not focus on the positive, and you just worrying with the negative things and this and that, you might know to focus on the positive. But the reason why a reminder came for you guys is to literally remind you. Like Spirit wants you guys to say, listen, stop what you're doing. Stop speaking on that. Speak on this. Because when you speak on that, you're entertaining it. When you're entertaining it, the aura, the energy that's surrounding that topic is only going to follow you. So whatever topics you involve yourself in, that's the energy you're willing to keep. see what else we got for you guys. Self-worth came out for you guys for sure. So listen, this is a big one, very big one. All of them is a big one, but I always say this is a big one to kind of get that emphasis. Like, hey, it's a big one, right? Make your brain pay attention. Listen, self-worth. It's very important to understand your worth. Now, I do say that, it's a very, that's what I'm smiling. It's a very happy topic I like to speak on. Self-worth. It's so crazy because it's like you literally have like the means to, how can I put this? You have control. You know what you're willing to tolerate and what you're not going to tolerate. And depends on the overall outcome of the situation that you actually, because our brains, we're able to do that. I don't know, like I said, not everybody's got, unfortunately, not everybody's got the capabilities. The brain is not fully there or developed, and I'm grateful. I'm so sorry for that, right? Greatly sorry for that. And if your brain has this capability to, because most of our brains, we have a capability where we can think of the next outcome. Like, if you curse out your teacher, you can kind of think, your first thing after you thinking that, or throughout that curse out, is to say, man, my parents are gonna whoop me. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know that already. So I feel like with self-worth, it's such a beautiful topic because once you develop something that you are willing to do, something you're not willing to do, and you develop that system, right? Your brain automatically puts that in perspective, like everyday tasks that you do, the friends you keep, the co-workers you hang out with, the jobs you obtain to. That all depends on how you view yourself. So if you view yourself as a high standard male or high standard female, you tend to do high standard and high man things. Like, for example, you could be from projects. You could be from just the poverty, just a place where it's less money, right, circulating. However, you decide to only entertain things that are going to bring great things to yourself. Knowledge is key. Knowledge is power, as they always say. So you decide, instead of going, and like I said, I'm not going to just judge nothing. I'm not even going to say something that you think is related to poverty. I'm going to say an example. I'm going to say something positive, matter of fact, because I know a lot of people would say be good and all that. I'm not even going to bring up a topic like that. I'll say, for example, because I don't want to judge nothing. I'll say there's two options. Playing football with your mates, or going to read. See, y'all probably thought I was going to say something else. I ain't going to say that because I don't want to judge it. We're going to talk about football, right? A natural thing for a kid to do, anywhere in the world. But just so happens, this is somewhere where money doesn't flow often. This is somewhere where, it's a neighborhood that people don't really get a lot of money. The cost is a little, because it's affordable for people that probably don't really get a lot of money, right? So maybe it's not an option for this person to go to the water park and things like that. So that's really expensive. This person could either go to football with his friends or go to the library. He chooses to go to the library because he looks at it like extended gratification. He says, okay, I could receive all gratitude while I'm playing football, but if I go read a book, or if I go learn something in the library, I can use this in my future life. And what happens is that same person, if God be willing, stays out of trouble and all of that, they would end up surpassing a lot of their peers because knowledge, right? Knowledge and wisdom can cause us to make our decisions in our life. If you want to know why people are where they are today, is each decision that they made. The only reason they was able to make their decisions is because the key information they had to be able to be confident enough to make the decisions, such as graduating, it doesn't have to be college, but if you start a business, it could be anything like that, right? So always look at your decisions you make. That depends on your knowledge. And I say this because determining what decision you make is going to determine your self-worth. How do you view yourself? You know what I mean? Let's see what else we got for you guys. Trust all will be well. That's definitely a straightforward message. Trust all will be well. I think that's straightforward. I don't think I have to really speak on that too much because I feel like that's pretty straightforward, right? So trust all will be well, very easy to do it. As long as if you're in a situation right now, I don't know what it could be, and you want to get out of it, let's stop playing on how can we move out of it. There's always a way. Don't believe that. Even if you got to transfer different locations, you got to transfer career choices. There's always a temporary decision that you can make to put you in a better position, right? So don't believe is no way out. There's always a way out. Just think a little harder. Depending on your situation, we can definitely make it work, right? Work through the stages in life. Because I promise you, it's like working a full-time job. I worked a full-time job where I had to work a whole another month until I left, and that's what it is. Like, you gotta do what you gotta do, like, you know what I mean? So it's everybody goes through it. You know, that's not throwing pity party there. Everybody goes through it. Let's just work through it, and we'll be grateful that we do. So trust will be well in the process of you working through these things, though. Like, if you in a situation where it might take you a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 years, 5 years, I don't know how long it might take you, right? Depending on how disciplined you are in it and how fast you want to get out of it, and you make the right decisions. Hey, anything can happen. But trust in it, trust the process, trust the results. Things will happen just as fast as we're able to accept all the great things. We're going to be able to accept when things aren't good as well, right? Okay. Alright, so trust the universe. This is double confirmation. Don't really have to speak on this too much. Trust the universe. The universe is a boomerang effect. You get out what you put in, so make sure you guys are trusting. Trust the universe, trust that they have your best interest, right? Trying to see how long this is about. But I'm gonna be speaking some stuff. Oh, be real, be authentic. Don't fake it till you make it that it's not worth it. It's not worth the risk you take for faking it till you make it, right? Because it's not worth the embarrassment. It's not worth the embarrassment, not knowing what you're doing, the flaws of, getting caught in an act of, displaying you don't know what you're doing. You might as well start from the bottom and work your way up to the top, right? Like, realistically, that's always the best option. Because at least while you're in them little stages of your life, you know exactly how far you came, you know exactly what you're displaying, you know exactly that you're displaying what you actually know, and not just how you feel. You actually know this stuff, and you can be tested, and then passing tests on these subjects that you know, right? It's not fake it till you make it, you actually know what it is. And that's called being real. Be humble for my people. Listen, no matter how far, how tall, I meant to say how high you get, not tall, but I was thinking of a mountain when I said that. So no matter how tall you get, how high you get, with this situation, make sure that you guys are remembering to stay humble. Listen, but that's not just about not being cocky or being arrogant. It really comes down to when you have a situation where you're about to be at that breaking point. And being humble will assist you to reflect on where you didn't have it and things like that. So when you use that energy of being humble and you reflect on, hey, I came this far, it will encourage you to keep pushing through your toughest times, right? A humble spirit is probably one of the best spirits. Oh, guess they want me to hand you guys with this one. Unleash your kind self, right? Listen, you guys might have grew up in an environment where they taught you guys to act tough first, right? You should not, and we get taught that sometimes because of our environment that we might have grew up in and things like that. But I do want to let you guys know that it's okay to not be, not react in that way, right? You can most definitely be kind to others because you never know what someone's going to do. I just saw a video where these people was riding on a bicycle in like a trail, and it was, I guess, this guy who was like handicapped, and he was like on like this, I think they call it an e-bike or something like that. It was like a bike with maybe 3 wheels. He was like sitting down in it, and one of the gentlemen, were like the regular mountain bike. He was just like, hey, that's what they had at, and instead of like leading with a kind, gesture or whatever, and just trying to figure out, like, or just, you know what I mean, like, or even in general, just sometimes their business ain't your business, like, just lead them with kindness, and instead of going straight with judging people or trying to accuse somebody of something. God was paralyzed, right? Like, then they felt some type of way because God said he was paralyzed, but it's like if we just lead with kindness and realize that some business ain't our business, and we just, allow people to live their lives, and it will help us a lot better with everything, and then people will pick up that, yeah, that stuff ain't cool to be arrogant, to be egging things on, or being obnoxious to people with all of that. Like, people will look at it and frown more upon it as time goes on, because we're making a difference in our community by just focusing on kindness things. So that's going to be your last message for my Aquarius. Thank you guys so much for tuning in on this reading. I really do appreciate it. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you find this educational, informative, motivational, anything of the sort. Thank you guys so much. I will see you guys in the next video.